Okay, so I think we are live if I'm not mistaken. We're trying to do something new here for me. We're live here with my good friend and colleague Kenneth Kwan, who is in Singapore right now where I am. But we're going live on Facebook, and I hope it's working out because it's the first time I'm doing it this way. So if you're seeing us going live right now on Facebook, can you please give me a thumbs up or give me some sort of confirmation that this is working, because this is new for me. Kenneth, can you confirm that you're with us fully and everything is working? You can. Okay, nice. I have 2 thumbs up from Kenneth, ladies and gentlemen, too. So that's working out. Hopefully my team can also confirm that we're going live because this is new for us.
Yes, you are live already on
nice, look at that. So Kenneth is checking faster than my team.
I'm watching your Facebook right now.
You're watching my Facebook right now. This is, this is new, guys. I'm trying to do things that I've not done before.
Nice.
Some of you can appreciate that doing new things, you don't always get it right away. Yeah. So Kenneth, you can actually see me right now.
Yep.
That's cool. So guys, some of you have already seen the post that we've been making that we're doing a lot more in Singapore these days, not just masterminding and not just understanding how to build communities around you, but really how to develop the way you are as a leader, how to develop the way you are as a manager, how to develop the way you are as an entrepreneur. And really you need all three mindsets when you're running a team, when you're running a company, when you're running a massive organization, or if you have a wish to do that. And what Kenneth has done, approached me a few months ago and said, Gil, let's put something amazing together before the end of the year and help people understand that because of all the changes that are happening in the world, we need to be a little bit more, agile and a little bit more flexible with how things are going. And we must think way outside of the box, and you must be creative, and you must understand that there's a lot of things happening in the world right now where if you're not thinking in a liquid and flexible manner, people will surpass you. Competition will come in. One of your colleagues will take over your job. So there's going to be a really awesome event coming up next week here in Singapore. If you're here with us, we're expecting to see you there. But we wanted to give you a taste for those of you in the world who are not going to be with us about some of the topics that are going to be covered at the event. And also I personally wanted to introduce you to Kenneth, because he's been a massive influence on me personally on how I've been thinking big about goals and how I've had to actually put them and break them down into smaller steps. Hasn't been my style. And number 2, he actually was one of the speakers at the recent event we had here with Tony Robbins. We had a massive, awesome day just for our Russian community. Some of you are listening probably are Russians. And Kenneth came and completely blew their minds. We had so much positive feedback. So my personal wish is not just to see some of you at our event coming up, but actually to see Kenneth coming to Russia and blowing all of your minds. So Kenneth, give us a quick intro about, what have you been up to in the last few years in your life, and why are you making such a big difference in people achieving their goals in a much more efficient and beautiful manner? Did we lose Kenneth? What happened? No, don't tell me I lost Kenneth. Did we lose Kenneth? Guys, come on. This is so much fun. Kenneth, come back to us. Come back to us. Kenneth, come back to us. Yes, he's back, ladies and gentlemen. This is how you achieve big things in life. You take small steps and you make it happen. So Kenneth, did you hear I don't know where I lost you, but basically I made a beautiful intro of what it is that we're trying to do.
Yep.
And I said, tell us a little bit more about what you've been doing for the last few years and how you're helping people achieve massive, massive goals in more efficient, more beautiful ways.
So I basically work with organizations and teams to achieve their goals. A lot of people plan goals, big goals, but we realize that planning goals is not the thing. It's actually goal attainment. Goal attainment is everything. And So I wrote a book on small steps to big changes, which focuses on small micro steps. The whole idea is to create a rhythm of winning, because a lot of people plan big, but unfortunately, big is where they stop at, and they don't focus on the small goals, the small steps forward that creates momentum. And you can talk about all the big stuff that you want, but if you're not winning consistently, you're not moving closer to your goals, you're actually not achieving anything much at all. And small steps is, to my opinion, is very important, because you break anything that is big into very, very small concrete steps. So when you look at small, you're trying to define what needs to happen right now within 1 month or 2 months to move forward. And the questions we throw at our participants are, how will you know that you have improved by 1 level up? You know, what needs to happen? What are the behaviors you need to see that will be different? What will your team notice that will be different in the way you do things? And even your stakeholders, what will your stakeholders notice when you're 1 level up? And all this gives a very concrete picture of what needs to happen to move forward. And all this is more important, especially in an area where goals, leaders don't even dare to plan 3 years in front now. You know, I have a lot of clients that's telling me that, okay, we know what's the general direction, and then we'll figure it out along the way. Because it's about business agility, it's about how they can react fast, how they can consistently listen to the client's needs, you know, and then address them quickly. So all this is a whole different set of thinking, it's a whole different set of processes to be able to navigate in the midst of all the uncertainty and sometimes even lack of very, very specific end targets, you know, but we know that this is the direction they want to go.
So can you give us an example? You know, I have a number of different projects and companies, and personally myself, you know me a little bit, and I'm thinking big and thinking big projects. And many times I'll sit in front of my team and I'll tell them, guys, this is the vision. This is what I want to do. And big thing, let's take 1,000 people to this country and let's change the world. And I'm hoping that people are inspired enough to then break it down into goals. But that's not reality. Unfortunately, they get inspired and nothing gets done. So,
yeah.
What's the best way for someone like myself to maybe talk a little bit differently with my team, or what's the best way to maybe identify someone within the team that I could personally work with, like that would break down the goals in a better way?
Yeah. So I guess the first step is always to talk about what we call a preferred future. You know, what would life look like? Should everything work very well for us? And we're talking about life without any operational constraints. And it's always the life that we wanted, the results that we have. So when we get people to talk about the perfect future, that's where everyone gets excited, they get motivated, they start seeing possibilities instead of limitations. And that's good. But the question is, how do you start moving towards it? Like your question, you know, how do you move people towards it? And what we have noticed is we use a very simple process. And in fact, it's a very powerful process that has helped many teams achieve greatness. So imagine right now, you know, if you could scale your progress right now on a scale of 1 to 10, where are you in achieving that perfect dream that you have? 10 being the perfect dream has actually happened, and 1 is the exact opposite. Where do you think you are at right now? And at this point of time, most people will say, you know, you're probably maybe a 3, 4, 5 or whatever, you know?
I think I'm at a 5. It's not opposite. Yeah. I'm like, you know, I can't say I'm halfway, but like, I'm definitely on the right path and things are moving, but they're not moving in a systematic way. They're not moving at the pace that I want them to see them. I see them moving.
Yep. So 5 is great. You know, 5, that means we are halfway there towards the dream really. And so questions I will ask will be, you know, what makes you say that you are at a 5? What have you done so far to reach to a 5? And this is an important question, because sometimes when we work with team members, not everyone is as optimistic as the leader. Usually the leaders are very optimistic. They say everything can be done, you know, we can make things happen. But there'll be some cynical people in the team and say, you know, yeah, but that's what, he's the leader, he's different, you know. So so we need, and this looking at 5, and we ask, you know, why are we not at 4 or 3? We have done something correct to move to where we are right now. And this will help to combat negativity. The next step I will focus on is look at, you know, what's working well for us so far. What is something that we have done well to move to this current position? So, and that's where we get team members to talk about, yeah, I've done this correctly, or I've done that. You know, certain things are in place. There are certain processes that is happening right now. And this is something that we have done, but I don't know why we have done it only one time, but you know, I feel that there's potential to bring it even further, or how do we systemize success? So helping people to move forward fast is by looking at the past and looking back at what went well, what is something that we could do, and repeat the process again. Rather than look.
This is something that I would do with my team. This is something that I would do with my managers.
Yep. But while it makes sense, I can tell you a lot of organizations that I work with don't talk about that. They don't talk about what went well. In fact, they talk about the exact opposite. What was some failures? What is some things that we messed up? What's something that we need to, you know, when there are problems that happen, they need to mitigate it. They need to form committees, task force to talk about it. And after a while, when you keep talking about problems, you know what happens? The morale just drops, because they start seeing that there's so many problems in the organization, then they start getting pessimistic. I mean, how do you achieve greatness or success where you keep talking about failures all the time? Think about it. What if we spend more time focusing on what creates success? When somebody does something correct, we start being very inquisitive. We start asking, hey, what do you do to create that success? What's something that all of us need to take note of so we can systemize it across the board and make sure that everybody are winners, instead of having conversations around how to prevent each other from losing or making a mistake. Yep, and the last stage is very important. We start asking questions on what is one step forward right now. You know, on a scale of 1 to 10, you know, if you say you're 5, what needs to happen right now to move to a level 6? We are looking at the people, the processes, and how would our clients notice about us when we are at a level 6? Would there be things be done differently? What kind of difference would there be in the way we talk to our clients, in the way we serve our clients, even in the way we handle things as well? What do you think are some systems, processes that needs to change so that we feel that we can move to a level 6? So all these are step by step. And the best part is when people think about small, specific, actionable steps, they get very concrete. They start realizing that, hey, I can actually make a difference. I can change this by myself without always talking to the leader. And they feel that they're empowered to make the next small change. And what I've noticed is when people win small, they want to win more. Winning itself is highly motivational. It's very exciting. Yeah, and they keep talking about, hey, 3 months ago we couldn't do this, now we can do this. I'm very excited. I wonder what's the next step forward to move to another level.
I like that. When they start winning small, they want to start winning bigger.
Yep.
I've actually, since we last met, I've actually been trying some new things with the company, and you know, some of our like Monday meetings, instead of talking about the goals and what we need to try to achieve, we try to talk about successes. You know, tell me some good news from last week. Now, I don't know if you find this in different parts of the world, but it's been difficult to get my team to talk about successes. Yeah. And it's been difficult for my team to just share good news. And I'm like, why, guys? Like, come on, like any kind of good news, just share something good that's happened. What was, like, I had this one customer and this happened. I had this one partner and this, share. Do you see that happening where people just don't want to share for some reason?
In the beginning, it will be difficult because they're not used to it. Because if you think about it, most of our conversations are around failures. And if anything happened, most of the time leaders will go into what we call a diagnostic route. They'll go into root cause analysis. Tell me what happened, who did it, how long has this been happening? And after a while, we are conditioning people to look out for weaknesses, right? You know, they keep talking in the same way. And it takes people a lot of time to focus on possibilities, what creates success. And the leader needs to, when you're handling conversations with your team members, you need to start asking questions that are, when you look about the past, you start looking at past success, past resources that we have used, something different that we have done that made a whole lot of difference. And after a while, they realize that, hey, we actually done certain things correct and we need to systemize it. And there were some instances with our clients that they started identifying, hey, last time we used to do this, but I'm not sure why we are not doing it anymore. If we just do this, I'm sure we'll just move another one level up. And the best part is people start getting excited because everybody wants to talk about how to create success, I think in Asia, we tend to be a little bit harder on ourselves. We don't brag about ourselves. When I work with many clients, it's very difficult to get them to talk about where they did well. What was something they did that made a whole lot of difference. And one question that I noticed that worked very well, interestingly, is what did people say about you that was really good, rather than they saying about themselves that it was really good. So if they come in from a third party's perspective, talking about them, talking about what was something that they did well, is much easier. And I think for Asian context, they find that, oh, this is what people say about us. They said this, say good things about us. And that helps to start moving people, focusing on what went well and what the other people say about us.
I like that. It's so in a way, a lot of what you teach really changes the values of the company, right? Because if management starts acting this way and the employee starts acting this way, then in a way, I'm hoping that when they get together next to the coffee machine, they're actually talking about good news instead of talking about like what went wrong and what's not working out. That's kind of the ideal situation of what would happen. And tell me, the event that's happening now and next week, how is this different to some of what you've taught in the past? How is this connected to agile management in general?
I think every client that we have talked to, and I think you probably noticed this, every client is changing. Every organization that we've talked to is experiencing some sort of change. It could be a structural change in the way they do things. They usually say it's no longer business as usual. We need to upskill our people. They cannot be functioning in the level that they are. We need to move them upwards, in the way they do things. More value added work or services that needs to be provided, because competition is stiff. So that's why this program, this conference is created, because we talk about business agility. How do we move fast forward when sometimes the end goal may not be exactly as clear as we want it to be? How do we make teams make quick decisions rather than get stuck into problems? How do we get them to look into possibilities? How do we get them to think further and start moving quickly towards it? And I think this is something that a lot of organizations are excited about. How do we create business agility, get people to think fast and move fast?
I love that. Like when I think about myself and why I personally really wanted to get involved in your event is I think about just the mindset of resourcefulness, where you don't want to be one of those bosses, because at this event, we're expecting bosses, we're expecting senior management, we're expecting leaders of organizations, CEOs, and which is the audience that both you and I usually get in front of us. And it's people who don't want to be given problems all day long. They want to be given solutions. And if you have a team who's thinking about resourcefulness, if you're able to build that network around you of smart people, of solution-minded people, of people who are thinking about, hey, what went right? How do we duplicate that? How do we make that continue, instead of like, guys, this is going wrong and this is going wrong and this is going wrong now. I personally very much connected to that, because honestly speaking, I used to be that guy who always said, this is going wrong and this is going wrong. I don't know if it's ever been in your life, but in my life, I'm a coach in my blood. And in many, many cases, not just in my businesses, but in other people's businesses, people would pay me money to come in and say what's going wrong. And then how do we fix these things? And that's always been my strategy for so many years, to identify, hey, this is going wrong, let's fix it. Instead of saying, hold on, out of everything that you're doing, only 20% is going wrong. Let's talk about the 80% just for a little bit. I never used to do that. So this event really attracted me because I've gone through the transition myself. I had to become a lot more agile. And I use a lot of my network abilities within it. How do you network differently within the organizations? How do you talk to your partners differently, which is something I'm very excited in talking about at the event, is not how do you just bring in insight in the company, and how do you create more of an agile team that's talking to each other, that's maybe masterminding and, having kind of different quality of brainstorming sessions, but it's also how do you then transfer this outside? How do you get your clients to be thinking, wow, I want to work with these guys because they're solution-oriented people. Wow, I want to work with this account manager because he's always positive, even though things went wrong and my shipment wasn't arrived on time, or this wasn't delivered on time, it was over budget. The account manager still found a way to turn it around and say, listen, this is what we've learned and we're going to do it better next time. And you kind of tend to train a whole philosophy in an organization. Now, I know that you've identified a few other really, really incredible speakers that are coming in. Why did you identify them? And can you tell us why are you so excited about these people coming into the event?
Oh, well, all the speakers in this event are highly qualified. They are veterans in their industry, you know, and I think they are able to share ideas that just open up your minds to different realities. I mean, we have Suyan Wong, you know, will be sharing about how do you create business agility in teams. I mean, she has led a large organization. She was from a consulting firm before, and they do a lot of this sort of stuff, and they go into the issues and challenges of companies to look at possibilities as well. And another one, Dr. Jocelyn Lee, you know, she's the CHRO, Chief Human Resource Officer of SUTD, which is the Singapore University of Technology and Design. You know, she looks into data analytics.
I'm very, very impressed with some of the articles she's written out there. Wow.
Yeah. Yep, she's really good, and I think she talks about the human element of how you make decisions, how do you look at data. And, you know, sometimes everyone's talking about data analytics, you know, it's such a big thing right now. But the question is not every data is useful. The question is, how do you make sense of data? You know, what kind of data you need to collect, and how do you put it into the whole employee experience, or even the whole service or customer experience as well. So it'll be very interesting to look from data point of view, from the organizational point of view, what really matters, and how do you make decisions based on data as well. And of course, we have you, you know, a master of networking, and how you bring people connected together, and how do you get them to be solutions oriented. And it's about who you know, it's about who you know and who knows you in the company, and how you're able to move together quickly forward because of networks. Yeah, and I think
also, I think Emma Jackson as well, right?
That's right. Emma is in. She's from CPID. Basically, they are a professional UK organization, and they look into professional practices, you know, of the work environment. They have many research articles, you know, they have researchers talking about what creates a very driven organization, what creates a values-based organization as well. You know, I love, I met her in the Maldives, interestingly, when we were speaking in a conference together, and she was just
That's
excellent.
A difficult life Kenneth got, by the way. He gets to work in the Maldives. Very difficult, yes.
It's so difficult to work in your shorts and in speak in a conference. I mean, you have to wear suits and you're melting away because it's so hot.
But you work for a couple of hours and then you go chill on your own beautiful white sandy beach. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. When you're not working, you're just chilling out on the beach. You know, it's a beautiful area, and it's like paradise on earth. You know, it's paradise.
I guess this would be the result for some leaders who would take agile management in a very serious way, right? Because if you have the right systems in place and you're flexible, then realistically, you could have an office in the Maldives for a week where you're working out of a laptop an hour a day maximum, and the whole company is running, right? I believe in that.
That's the dream.
I believe actually it's real. I don't know if some of your clients have that as a goal, but I personally had that in my goal a few times in my life, where I wanted to be able to run a business, but still have that flexibility to go away with my family and spend time somewhere else. Like, for example, this winter, we're going to be spending some time in Bali, and we said, why go for a week if we can go for a month? And, you know, like, the question is, like, how flexible are we, and what sort of systems we have in place, and how much communication is happening between our teams, and are they flexible enough? Because if our team is like, no, we need the boss next to us, no, we need to talk to you every day to get answers, then the company is not liquid enough. It's not agile enough. And I think this is a lot of what we're going to talk about. So the people who are showing up at the event and the people who we want to have in front of us, what sort of goals do you think these people should have before coming to the event?
What kind of goals?
Yeah, what kind of, like, why would they show up at the event? What are they hoping for? Because the way I see such an event like ours, it's very boutique. It's not a mass event with thousands of people. It's going to be very interactive. It's going to be a lot of really curated networking. You know, we're going to make a massive difference in their lives. Now, we don't want everyone to show up. We don't want random people to show up who just want to come for the free food. You know, we're looking for very serious people who have maybe some business goals, some corporate kind of new standards they're trying to achieve. So what sort of goals would they have right now that maybe they don't know how to achieve on their own?
Well, I think we have very ambitious leaders as well. You know, leaders of senior management, they are always looking for fresh ideas to move their team to the next level. And it has to be fast, you know, it cannot be just a long drawn process as well. So we are looking, they probably will have very ambitious and, ideas. And they probably want to know what it takes to, you know, in terms of the people skills as well. Because most leaders, I mean, they usually when they are promoted because they're technically competent in what they do. But when they become a leader, become a people manager, they realize that the skill sets are completely different. You know, it's no longer about how good are you on the job. It's about how good you are in leading people, strategizing the future. How do you encapsulate the vision in your words and in your everyday living? So we are looking for, I think leaders are generally very, the people that will be coming are people who wants to know what it takes to move up to the next level. And these are the leaders that want to move forward in the midst of uncertainty as well.
I love that. I think this is really, really important because right now, if you look at a lot of businesses around the world and some economies, there is uncertainties. You know, everything that's happening with new systems and the new world of the internet, how that's changing the intranet within the companies, how communities are being built outside of companies, inside companies. So I really see personally, you know, some of the guests that I've invited and I see them coming in, like raising their hands, yes, I want to sign up. It's people who understand there's something much bigger out there that they still don't have a grip on. They know that there's new systems that they can implement in their company without spending huge amounts of money on new algorithms and new softwares, but it's almost like a small shift of a mindset. And this is where I see this kind of, you know, this unique workshop that we're putting together. It is really a workshop because we're going to be giving people very practical advice. It's not just going to be inspiration of what's going on in the world, right? It's going to be a lot of practical advice and cases. And for me, of course, what I'm most excited about is that not only are we going to talk with them, but they're going to be talking to each other as well. You know,
that's right.
So to me, this is one of the most important parts of this event is actually high-level executives meeting other high-level executives. And we're going to be showing them how to share and how to talk and how to build new relationships with people maybe they haven't met before. Potentially meet some peer groups, maybe even create a mastermind group of leaders from different industries. Maybe your CEOs from, you know, the automotive industry, your CEOs from pharmaceutical, your CEOs from IT industry, and you connect with other CEOs and together you work on, hey, how do we become more and more agile company as an organization by listening to other organizations? Is there something else that you think people need to consider before showing up to the event? Or is there a big kind of list of like, hey, this is really for me right now. Why should it be maybe before the end of the year?
It's a tough question.
I know. I like tough questions. Guys, listen. I'm all about tough questions, Kenneth. I like to give people great value for their time. They're going to spend a few hours with us. I'm thinking this is necessary before the end of the year because, you know, I know some of the guests that you have coming are very high-level executives. They're very important people in this country. And realistically, you can't make all the decisions right away. And many organizations are already thinking about next year. So this is not for a company that has 3 employees and it has their first 10 clients and you want to know what to do next week. This is more for an organization who's thinking, how do we make 2020 easier for us? How do we make 2020 more successful for our company? Not just our P&L looking healthier, making more money, we're firing less people, we have a lower turnover of staff, we have more loyalty from our community. But for me, I see is how do we become more flexible and more agile with the economy? So if the economy changes and suddenly my competitor does something, I'm ready for it. If suddenly, you know, one of my competitors steals one of my key team members, it's okay. I'm ready for it. It's almost like in the Matrix, you know, you can dodge bullets. So basically, is that what we're going to be giving people next week? Are we going to be teaching people how to dodge bullets like in the Matrix, but in the real business world?
Yeah, I guess so. Probably not just dodging them, but also firing them as well.
Very
um,
interesting. It's a different strategy. I like that.
yeah, and I guess and also interestingly, the leaders that are coming, I think one profile about them that I notice is that they're humble as well, really, really humble, are willing to listen. They are not those that have figured out everything. They are just there to listen, and they are keep asking themselves, what else do I not know? They are already very confident leaders, but they realize that they will not have, a lot of leaders, some leaders, they suffer from the Messiah complex, which is, I need to be the brilliant one to know everything. And if I don't push things, things don't move, And I think gone are the days. Yeah.
I used to be one of them.
And gone are the days where the leader needs to have this, to be able to feel in control of everything. Because right now they have not, leaders who are like this in the old frame of mind have not learned how to tap into the potential of people and how to help them navigate forward. And I mean, I always speak to leaders, and one thing I ask them, if your people are handling the problem every single day, do you think they probably have a better idea than you, who is a leader who just jumps in once a month, come in and look at the problem and try to think of solutions for it? Do you think that they have a better idea than you? I'm sure they can think of what all the small steps that is needed right now. So the question is, how do we unlock this level of creativity? So I think the leaders that are coming in are always looking for new ways. They're humble enough to listen, and they're looking out. They're very alert for the next opportunity, the next thing that needs to happen. Like what you said, that can just drive their team to the entire new level.
I love that. What you just said really resonated with me, because a lot of the leaders that I work with as a strategy coach actually come to me not just because of the business challenges, but because of the life business balance and the stress. The stress where if you're a leader that wants to be in control of everything and you think you have the solutions, you're going to end up dying young. You're going to end up having a lot of white hair. You will not go on many vacations. And I think this is the biggest probably takeaway that people could take from the event itself is, how do you lower that stress where you're still in control of everything? You have visibility, but you're not the one that needs to deal with all the problems, right? You're not the one that needs to put everything on your shoulders. And I think that's a massive, massive takeaway that people can take when they leave that event. It's the new connections, it's the new kind of methodologies and systems, but it's really this new set of tools that they can really have around their belt that they can start using every day.
That's right.
I'm excited about that. So basically in November the 15th, first thing in the morning at 8 o'clock in the morning, where is this going to be? Remind me.
This is going to be at Justco Marina Square. This event is going to start, at 8 o'clock it's open, but I think 9 o'clock we will start the program. It runs all the way to 2.
So whoever is watching this and you're considering showing up at 5 to 9, 8 o'clock is when we're going to get some networking done. We're going to get you registered. Yep. We're going to make sure that you're connecting with the right people. So you're not going to be coming in and on your phone. Don't come in and do emails. Come in, be open, be ready for Gil, me, support you in facilitating you meeting the right people. And we're going to be there with you. We're not going to be there on a pedestal on a stage. We're going to be there networking with you, connecting with you, and making sure that you meet the right people. And what's going to happen during the day? They're going to come in 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock. 9 o'clock, we get things started. And how long is the event going to be?
The program will run all the way to 2. There'll be lunch. The program will end about 12:30. There'll be a lot of different ideas from different speakers, and there'll be a networking session, and everybody will move together, go on networks, get to know people. The whole idea is to create a small community of people who are business leaders. Business leaders want to talk to other business leaders. They want to find out what works for you, what's something that I can learn from you. And this network is important. We want to create this network where they can have lunch together and then be intentional in talking, not just have lunch by themselves in one corner and that's it, but really the interaction is very important for senior leaders.
I love that. And really that's the main reason I wanted to fully join this event is because of what you just said, And I really want anyone who's watching this, and a lot of you are going to be watching this thinking, is this for me or not? It's a Friday. You could take half the day off. Lunch is included, which is amazing. Not because we're trying to get you some free food. It's going to be great food. We're trying to get you to stay and allow everything you learn to sink in. And not just by eating by yourself and by watching some random YouTube videos or by being on email, but we're going to put you in tables with other people, and we're going to get you to share with others, so you can bond and you could build new relationships. You could build a new network of people around you, so that when you're going home, maybe you won't remember everything you've learned. You can always call one of us speakers, of course, and we can work with you individually. We can work with you and your team. We're going to love to do that, of course. But it's more about you can stay in touch with some other people and they can refresh your mind a little bit. And when you're ready, that's when you call us in. We come in, we work with you and your team, so that you're not forced to implement everything yourself. And that's a big part of what's going to happen on Friday. Is we're not going to leave you with all the tools and say, okay, good luck, try to implement everything yourself. We want you to be inspired. We want you to understand that these are tools that are available out there, and you could probably implement some of them, maybe many of them yourself. But we'd like to actually come in with you, hold you by the hand, step in front of your team with you, and work with you for another half-day program, maybe a full-day program with you, to actually bring in all of what you've learned into the actual company's core, embed it into the values, embed it into the systems, make sure that the procedures that you need are in place, so that you're the good guy. It's not you're coming in and trying to change everything yourself. We're coming in and suggesting some changes. You're the good guy, basically saying, yes, this is going to work for us because it's working for the leading companies in the world. So I'm very, very excited about this. Kenneth, any last messages you want to share with our viewers today on Facebook, or some of the people that are going to be watching this very soon on their computers or on their phone somewhere at home?
Yeah, I guess it's a last call to action where, this event is not for everybody, like what you mentioned, we're not just interested in organizing another event, but it's just a call out to leaders, people who are strictly leaders, leading teams of people. We have a lot of leaders from multinational corporations who will be there, and they'll be there to listen. We're not targeting hundreds of people, it's not going to be a very big event. But because leaders, they are very little, of that senior level, but they're very targeted. They are no nonsense. They want to know what needs to happen to move their business to the next level. And they are interested in getting to know other leaders as well, who experience the same pains as they have. And I think it's a beautiful time where they get to interact with the speakers personally as well, to talk things through, to just get viewpoints, get suggestions, and quick interaction sessions. And this is what is all going to happen on the 15th of November, the Agile Leadership Conference. And I think, Gil, you'll be providing the link, right, in case they are interested.
Yeah, of course. So if you're going to be seeing this on Facebook, you're going to see a link below. If you're going to be seeing this on your email, on your phone, you'll see a link as well on the email itself. Keep in mind that this is very, very limited seating. We don't want a massive event. We want to try to keep it very boutique, very warm, very intimate, because there's going to be a lot of questions and answers. We want to be able to interact with you, and especially during the morning networking session and the lunch session, we want to just walk around and connect with you, network with you, and we don't want hundreds of people. So I think we still have, about 20 seats available. We'd love to see some of you come in, grab your seats, while they're still nice and hot and available. If you don't, for some crazy reason, or you cannot show up, feel free to just follow up with myself personally, with my team, and we can always connect you with Kenneth or one of the other speakers. Maybe, I'm not sure yet, but there could be a video of the actual event available. We'll let you know only after the event that's going to be available, but that's not guaranteed, because we're trying to keep it very intimate and just really for the people who are going to show up. It's going to be for them. And I look forward to seeing you guys. Kenneth, I look forward to seeing you very, very soon at the event, and all the other great speakers. And if there's anything else that myself, my team can ever do for you, to serve you, to help your company make it a stronger end of the year, a more wonderful and flourishing 2020, please do let us know. So this is Kenneth Kwan, Gil, coming to you live from Facebook, and maybe soon somewhere else on other social medias. Kenneth, thanks a lot for your time, man. Really appreciate it. Sorry for the little technical glitches in the beginning. Look forward to seeing you soon for an amazing event.
Thank you. Looking forward as well. Bye.